Okay, so hello guys. This is Aditya, and joining me on a short session about Flask, where we'll cover the basics of what you need to know to make your app work, right? So let's just start off with what Flask is first. So Flask is basically a framework, right? It helps you build apps. Okay, so you might know already that each particular app has a front end, a back end, and a DB. So Flask in particular is a tool that helps you connect this front end and back end. Okay, and it's mainly used for back end, but you can also use it as a server for front end. So let's just get straight into it. We'll learn through example. So first of all, we need to create a Python file. We'll name it app.py because that's the general naming convention, and most packages use that name. So let's just create app.py. We have a demo folder, which is just an empty folder. So we have app.py, right? So now the first step is actually ensuring you have a Python installed. So I'll just open up a new terminal here through terminal from VS Code. We have a general terminal built into it. So we have demo, right? So first, check if you have Python installed by typing in Python. So if you get a version, Python at a version, then you do have Python installed. I'll just exit from this real quick. So now the next step is to see if you have pip installed. So again, just type pip. If you don't get a warning or an error, then it means that pip is installed. Okay. Then the next step is obviously getting Flask into your code. So we'll just install pip that is pip install Flask. You guys might be familiar with this because you did it with Streamlit. Similar to that, we'll just pip install Flask. So here you can see that it got installed very quickly, but that happened because I already have Flask installed in my system. You might have taken more time to do it, right? So let's go through the basic codes here. So the first line is import, right? Because you're getting something from the package. So what we need here is Flask, right? So let's just go over one more thing here. So we could do this, right? Because Flask is a package and we can get it through here. But importing Flask will import everything in that package, which we don't really need. We don't need all of it. You only need some part of it. So for that purpose, we'll use a from import. So as you can see here, Copilot is helping me out. So you can see here that from Flask import Flask. So let's just ignore the rest of the ones. Right, JSONify and requests are not needed, but just from Flask import Flask. So this seems kind of dumb to say. Like, what exactly is it? Like, you're importing Flask from Flask. So what exactly happens here is that this small f, this Flask with a small f, that is actually your package. Now this package will have functions, okay, that other people have written. So you guys know about user defined functions and built-in functions, right? So Flask is also in some way a user defined function which somebody else has written. We import that function and then use it. So there's no need to go too deep into it. Let's just import Flask, right? Then we need to create our app, the baseline app. For that, we'll use this particular code. So we imported this function, right? Flask. Now we'll use that function to create an app. Now we give underscore underscore name here, underscore underscore, which is like it is a dunder function. It is called a dunder function, but you don't need to go too deep into it. Let's just know that this line exists, right? So this line creates our app. Next, we'll define a root. Okay, so let me just go over what roots are. So generally, when you use the internet, right, every website we access has a root to it. Okay, so let's just say Google. You all use Google, right? So if we go to google.com, that is the domain name. When I go to Google, it just says Google, right? There's nothing more here. This is what is called a base root. Okay, the front part is a domain name which is given to your particular server on the web. Okay, a server is nothing but just a computer running your software. So this particular server has a name on the internet. That is your domain name. Okay, it is given to you by your service like Google Cloud or Amazon Web Services, anyone. So this particular root, which has nothing other than the base domain name, right? If even if I put a slash here, it will just go to the same name. This means that it is the base root. Similar to that, your app will also have a base root, and that base root is this one, just the slash, right? So first, we'll define an at app dot root, the base root. Now, what this at app does is that whenever someone accesses your website, right, through the base root, this particular function that we're going to write right now will get called. Okay, so let's just say def hello world, and then we just return hello world. So again, Copilot helping out here. So let's just say what this does exactly. So whenever I go to this particular root, this particular function will get called, and what this function returns, it just returns hello world. So now I need to run this app, right? This step isn't actually necessary, but it's recommended you do it because it's general practice. So we just go if name, the variable we used upwards right here, right? If that name is equal to underscore main. So again, there's no need to think too deeply about these things. Just know it works. These are all the predefined stuff. So then we do app.run, right? We don't need that debug.true there. Let's just say app.run. After I do this app.run, I can run this app, right? So let's just say, because we are using Flask, right? We get Flask commands. If I type in Flask, you can see that I don't get an error, right? I get something here. Usage, something I get. That means that I have Flask installed. Once I have Flask installed, I can just say Flask run. So another thing to note here is that Flask run is a Flask command, right? This will only work if you use your name as app.py. If you use any other name, this won't work. Okay, there are other ways to make that work, but for Flask, it's app.py. Okay, so if I give Flask run, it tells me that this is a development server, right? And it again tells me that it's running on this particular site or this particular IP address. Okay, let's not go over that stuff. You'll learn it later. So now what I do is that I just follow this link, right? Here you can see that that particular name came here, and I have a hello world here. So remember what I talked about, those base roots? That is what's happening here. I have a base root, right? Just the slash. This is my domain name, right? This is localhost actually. This particular root is called localhost 127.0.0.1. That is localhost. That's why we could see here that. So now we saw about base roots, right? And this if name is equal to main. And why we need that is that it tells your Python compiler where exactly your app begins. Okay, this refers to the main file or the base file of the whole app. Okay, that's why we need these if right here. So next, let's try something out, right? Now we know that base root is just slash. You can even try it out here. If you just type slash, it will still come to this same page. Then what will happen if I do any other root? If I want any other root, so let's just use a generally used root, right? Not hello, we'll use home. So when we have home, I'll also define a function which says return welcome to home page. When we go to this particular root, right, this is slash home, then I can also go to slash home right here. Now you see why I said it's a base root. Now it's a modified root. It has something appended to it, right? Something suffixed to it. So if I go to that root, what does it say? It says URL not found. Why that happens is that when I typed in slash home here, the thing didn't reload. And why did it not reload? It's because we didn't have this debug equal to true. So what debug equal to true does is that whenever you make changes to your file, it will automatically reload your app. Okay. So this time we can see that when I run this, it's running right now, and I go to that particular route. It says welcome to home page. Right? It got updated this time. Right. So what exactly happened here is that when we run Flask run, right, it doesn't automatically turn on debug, even if I do specify it here. So what we should do to make that happen is that I run it using Python itself, right? So this time I'm running it using the Python command. So Python app.py. This time you can see that the debugger is active, right? We did specify it there. There's another way to do this. That's Flask run, and then you give the debug specifically.